everybody. So first, before even opening the floor to the questions, I just want to request them to kind of take through what it took them to get through whatever they went through. Is that okay?
Hi, so my journey with Crack Verbal began sometime in 2012 when I had given my GMAT, scored a 610, and I was like, what to do next? I did come over here, and just to let you know, it was my 4th attempt after which I actually applied to a school. So my previous scores were something like 670 and 680, and all through this time I improved in the verbal score, and all thanks to Arun and his classes. The one thing which I would like to share with you is never give up. I've seen a lot of people who, after first attempt or second attempt, they just give up and they say, okay, I'll continue with my job. That will be it. So I didn't do that. And one more thing which I made sure was, GMAT is just one of the things in the whole process, right? You also have to make sure that what you are doing aligns with what you want to do. Do not have this, wild fantasy that it's good to have, but that you'll be able to change your industry or function very easily. It's quite difficult, and especially if you're targeting 1-year schools, it really becomes difficult. So, as I was giving my GMAT, I also made sure that my whole profile aligns to what I want to do in future, and that is very important because it should make a story. Because ultimately, essay is a story, right? And it should align with what you want to do. So
thanks so much. Thank you very much.
All right. So, to begin with, I had many constraints before starting preparing for the GMAT and the whole application process. I have got a lot of experience with me. Apart from that, I'm married. And I had to think about a lot of things before preparing for GMAT. But when I decided, I was very persistent. So that's one thing I want to advise everyone here. That taking GMAT is just one thing, but things start becoming difficult at every next step. So GMAT is the easiest thing. Application is a little bit tougher than that. Interview is all right, but then arranging for finances and getting through the Prodigy loans or other loans is again tough. So you have to keep on and be persistent at every step. So take GMAT as soon as possible. And I think I've taken all the services at Crack Verbal, starting from GMAT preparation, then essays, then interview prep, and even the information sessions which used to happen. I attended almost all of them here, and it all has benefited me. So that's what.
For me, it started with when I started to think about what I actually want to do once I graduated from my after BTech. So first question was that I should do MS or MBA or what should I do. So once I have aligned my goals towards MBA, then next step was whether I want to go for Indian B schools like IIMs should give CAT, or go for global business education and give GMAT. So I chose the latter. So it started with GMAT. I thought that I'll be able to crack it on my own. So I went casual along with my regular office days and scored a 660 on the first attempt. Then I thought it's not I should not be that casual. So I ended up at Crack Verbal. And then after GMAT, applications and recos, you have to, those are next 2 big steps. And once you've got ahead of those 2, then rest of the process is quite easy. Interviews, getting admits, that everybody knows. So applications and essays and reco, we have to think more after GMAT. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, one thing I want to talk about is, because I'm from a diverse background, I'm from biotechnology. So everybody thinks getting into a B school with a diverse background is really easy. So I'll tell you one thing. Yes, you're different from the other people, but then you need to prove yourself so much more that you need an MBA. Why do you need an MBA? It's like, I come from pure academic research background. Yes, I have like a lot of publications and stuff, but then I need to have my story ready. It's like, why do you need an MBA? That's the first question. In fact, after I submitted my essays to the ISB, they sent me an additional email asking me why I did not do my PhD and can you elaborate on why MBA. So it was like another additional essay that I had to write. So one thing is, before you start your GMAT journey, irrespective of your background, know why you want to do the GMAT, why MBA. It should be a very personal thing for you. Like, have your story, like your long-term goal, your short-term goal, what did you do so far. So that is more important. Like, once you have your story, it's like the process is much more smoother. I took Crackbubble help starting from GMAT. I took their GMAT coaching, and I also took their application services. And I had like a brainstorming session with them. So like the most important point I would say is, which they told me, is go and ask people around you what they think of yourself. Sometimes you'll be surprised that people tell you things even you don't think about yourself. So that kind of gives you confidence. So GMAT is just one step, but then having this story doesn't even help you right now, but also helps you in the long term. So it makes it very clear where you want to go. So that would be like my first advice to everybody. Make sure why you want to do a GMAT and do an MBA. And then for GMAT prep, I would like to repeat Arun's words: quality over quantity. Analyze your mistakes. That is like the one thing which helped me the most. I gave my GMAT only once, and I always wanted a 700 score, because I knew, okay, I'm from a diverse background, 700 is more than enough for me. So, but
More than enough for a lot of us, trust me.
So, but then analyze your mistakes. Analyze your mistakes and then listen to Arun.
Sure.
You'll be good.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Hi. So my story of GMAT is that I started my preparation in August and got in touch with Crackbubble in September, after I realized that I was not at all good in verbal, which we most of the time. So after that, I gave my GMAT in November and immediately applied to ISB. So one piece of advice which I would give, is that you could easily prepare for GMAT within 3 months. Trust me, it's easy to do that. Only thing you need is hard work and dedication. I mean, you have to give certain amount of time, discipline yourself enough, that I have to do this. I have to attack my weak points, because I have seen, even I have been tempted to do this a lot, that I am good at the quant, I should only be doing quant. No, I was bad in SC and I had to attack SC. Irrespective of the mistakes you make, you have to face your fears in GMAT. That's
Sure.
To start my story, so this was my second attempt. First attempt I took it by myself in 2013, which is almost 2 years back. And I scored a miserable 610. I will say miserable to my expectation level, mainly because of the verbal section. Coming from an IT background, as many people say, your quants will be decent, which I agree. That I've scored a 50 in quants, scored a very bad 22. Very bad 22 in verbal, because of which the score actually came down to 16. So, I mean, being almost a 10-year experienced person, it required a lot of motivation for me to again rethink about another attempt. Even though MBA was my main goal after so much experience, I couldn't jump to another career option without just going through an MBA process. So yes, it required a lot of motivation, and also find the right path to go through that option, like go through that goal basically. So then I somehow stumbled upon Crackbubble. I searched in net, I found so many good reviews about Crackbubble. I thought that I'll come and appear for the first free class or whatever which Crackbubble provides, and from that point, which was April 2014, I just went through it, really enjoyed the 6 weeks class, lot of learnings from it, and it just doesn't stop there. Actually, the main thing which improved my scores, especially the verbal part, was the mock test which I took, the timed exams which I wrote, not only from the Crackbubble Center, but also from my home itself. Every set of exercises that I did, either from the OG guides or from the advanced questions which Crackbubble provides. Everything I try to time it so that I'll be in that pressure situation, especially in the verbal section, and which is actually making my job easier in the final GMAT itself. So that was my GMAT process. I took around 3.5 months for preparation. Wrote around 10 mock CATs from here and so many from my home. And then went to write the GMAT around August and scored a 760.
Whew.
Just wanted to point out one main difference between my first GMAT attempt and my second. The only difference rather was my verbal score, which jumped from 22 to 41. Yeah, which jumped from 22 to 41, which was a main difference between my 610 to 760. Every other score, quants, IR, or even the AWA, everything was exactly same from my first and second. So that was my GMAT journey. And after completing GMAT, it was like, I basically took one step at a time, as everyone told. First thought about only GMAT, didn't really think about which schools to apply, what was my final aim, or which school to take into consideration. Once I finished my GMAT, of course, being this much experienced person, the only option for me or what I wanted to do was a 1-year MBA. I never wanted to end up doing a 2-year MBA course, being 2 years out of the job and then come back and search for jobs. So most of the US schools was out of my list. So I applied only for very specific set of schools, couple of European schools and then ISB. And another important factor for me was I wanted to come back to India and settle down in India after doing an MBA. So of course I was targeting schools where I could find a job after the MBA course either in India or in Asia Pacific region. So these were the factors which I considered, and in my first set of applications itself I got through to ISB. I had applied to INSEAD also, which I didn't get through. But the application process that I had in INSEAD and ISB, it made me introspect into my profile or my around 10 or 11 years experience. What did I really do? What all I can highlight in the essays, etc. So it was a long process, I would say. It took around 2-3 months to prepare the application, of course with the help of Crackbubble. But yeah, it was a really tough but very very good journey for me. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
Hi guys, you guys can hear me? Thank you. My name is Sumit. I won't talk about GMAT as much. These guys at Crackbubble are very good, and I scored a paltry 730 compared to this guy, so I'm not going to talk about the GMAT. One thing that many of us don't do, even I didn't at one point, we don't know why we want to do an MBA, and two guys have already discussed this. Forget the MBA for a while. If you haven't done this, think about what you want to do and how does MBA fit into it. MBA is not a destination. MBA is a train you're taking. You wouldn't take a train without knowing where it is going and what you want to do when you get to that city. So settle down, think what you want to do in your life. Where do you want to do it? Geographically, functionally, industry-wise. Once you've figured that out, trust me, you wouldn't need a lot of outside guidance. You will find out the way. Once you've figured out where geographically you want to be, you will have narrowed down your schools. Once you've figured out what functionally you want to do, you'll have narrowed down your schools even further. So that's basically it. Just find out what you want to do, and believe me, everybody, wherever you apply for an MBA, they'll all ask you, why do you want to do an MBA? So it's better that you're clear. Once you're convinced that you need an MBA to do what you want to do, you'll be able to convince anybody. That's all.
Excellent. Give it up for the panel, man. All right, just to summarize the panel, one thing, what's the first thing that you can take away from what these guys said? You need to have a story. If you don't have a story, you can't cook up one. Can you cook up a story in your experience? Not even an element. If you even try, it's just going to come through because These are guys who have had a story, who's sitting on the other side of the table. The moment I have seen applications sitting inside ISB evaluating applications, and the moment, you know how long it takes to evaluate a single application that you spend months writing? Take a good guess. Exactly 2 minutes. Like noodles. You know, I'll put the noodles, I come back, and then I figure out, okay, this guy's going in or not. Really sad, right? But then that's all the time, that's all the eyeball effect that you have. Which means if you don't have a convincing story, that's not stitching together, that is your life story. You're not trying to cook up a story here. It is a life story, you're trying to project that, and if it doesn't catch your eye, that's it. And where do you think the GMAT score fits in? Even before reading a story, GMAT score is the qualification. It's like, okay, let me look at his story a little better. Okay, let's see if his story is a little more. Okay, I don't even have to look at this story. Fair enough. Do you agree that we all need to have a story? Right. What's the second thing that you took away from the panel? Listen to Arun. Arun is always there. Arun, you have good listeners. But the idea is, it's about dedicated hard work. It's not just that, I book my GMAT, I'll give my GMAT test. How many of you are actually taking the GMAT to actually do an MBA and you actually know where to go to, or to figure out your market value in the marriage market? Please, I know we are all Indian children, okay? Let's all understand that we have pressures that our parents tell us that, you know what, abhi MBA karo, itna aayega. Sorry, not to kind of quote anything, right? But this is what we go through. But end of the day, from what you heard from the panel, that we need to sit back and think, where is this going to take us? As Sumit put up very nicely, MBA is not the destination. MBA is, I would call it a catalyst, he called it a train, but we need to know where we are going to end up. Without that clarity, it's no point. Right? Alright, opening to the questions. Now we have a panel that involves ISB guys as well as guys who have gotten into other schools. So that's like a good mix. Here's the deal. I am from ISB, so I have a bias towards ISB.